Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you doing today? I would love to know. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. So please, after you get done watching the video, skip down there and tell me how your day's going. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you for all of the comments on yesterday's video about PewDiePie. Really appreciate it. I really, I'm always curious when I hit the publish button what the response is going to be, because I'm never quite certain, for one, what I said on camera. I don't filter myself because I don't pre-record, I don't pre-write anything. So whatever I say is what I say, and I generally don't watch it after I've said it. So I put it in the computer. I cut off the beginning bit when I turn the camera on. I cut off the end bit and put the overlays, and I'm done. I don't watch it. Very rarely, unless, I have something to put on screen. So thank you. Thank you for all the comments yesterday. If you haven't watched that video, go watch it and leave some comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the current situation with PewDiePie. Is fine if you want to talk about that, but specifically about when is it off limits to make fun of something. So that's not what we're here to talk about. Today I want to give you an update on the game. I know quite a few of you have been interested in this project, and so I will probably soon put some articles up with more specific details on my website, cheveedodd.com. I know I'm really original with my branding. I'll put up some articles with some actual specifics if you want to see like the cards and stuff, because this format isn't really great for me showing you the game. But I will tell you that before I open it, my intention with this game, when I first started the design, was I had been playing Terraforming Mars, which is a large, both in size and scope, game of settling Mars. And then I loaned it, and I haven't seen it since. No, I have. I played it last night, but it's kind of like it's so loved by my little gaming community here that I just kind of let them just like go forth with it, because like I'm never going to play it unless I'm there with them. So there's no point in it just sitting in my basement. Like, just you guys use it, and it's been passed around to a few different groups, and it's been played a lot, and I really enjoy it. But so I hadn't been playing it. And I thought, can I take that theme, that settling Mars theme, and condense it and make it an accessible game for anybody? That was my #1 design goal. How do I make something that embraces the feeling of developing your space station or whatever it is, but make it playable by everybody? So my goal originally was like, I'd like to use cards, maybe dice, and like a token of some kind. So whether it's money or little bits, I wasn't sure, but that was my initial design goal. So where we've come from there is now there's, well, my rulebook. There's a scoreboard, which has been borrowed from Imperial Settlers. There are little plastic, or not plastic, these are wooden meeples, little dudes. There are cubes that represent essentially money, but it's supplies. There's dice, there's pawns, there's some tokens, and there is bunches and bunches and bunches of cards. So I have designed, the current playing deck is 110 cards. I want to say there's like 40-ish unique cards in here right now. I would like to design more. There's also trophies and so the game has grown a little bit bigger than I intended for it to. And that's okay. I'm fine with it, because we played it last night. This is only the second time I've let other people play it, and after we got done playing, they asked to play it again. So when that happens to you, if you've ever designed a game, when that happens, when the person, whether it's a board game or even a video game, if the playtester says, I want to play again, that's a good sign. And so they were trying to figure out the economy, and we did not play it again because I was interested in playing some of the other games we brought, but also because it's still a little imbalanced, and I knew that, and so it's like I encourage the enthusiasm to test again. Please, let's do that next week, but give me a chance to kind of patch it before we go at it, right? So, the main differences that I changed is, from the last time we've discussed it, is that I separated. Initially, you had cubes, and cubes are your resources. These are like supplies. So we're on a planet, and in come these modules, which are what the cards are, and it costs supplies to be able to build them because, you know, you have to connect it to the other modules and get it up and running. So you have to spend your resources to make it. To get it working. And then it can start generating resources for you because maybe it's a mining drone. So it cost you an initial startup cost to build it, but then it starts producing. And so originally, at the end of the game, your cubes were your in-game score. And it worked. But once you had somebody who had developed a nice little economic engine, then they just were cracking out way more points than they were spending, and it was like a little bit of imbalance. It wasn't imbalance, it was just like runaway leader, essentially. And that's never fun. Like if you're 3 turns away from the end game or so, and you look over and this guy has just a mound of resources and you have 5, you know you're not going to win, and it's just discouraging. So what I did to help with that and to add a new layer was add a scoreboard. And now when you produce resources, when you get supplies, you have to choose at that point in time. So you have a card. Say I have, here's my mineral research. Mineral research is a, can you see that if I hold it up? I don't think so because of the focus. I'll put it on the screen. Mineral research is a 3-cost card that does not have any placement restrictions, so you can put this anywhere in your base. And when you use it, so you got to put a guy there. That's what the graphic design changed. You put a little guy there. That's when you use it. You roll a die, and if you roll a 1 or 2, you get nothing. If you roll a 3 or 5, you're going to gain 3 resources if this mineral research is connected to a science module. So as long as you have another yellow science module connected to it on one of the 4 sides, you'll get 3. If you roll a 6 or higher, that's what the little plus means, you're going to get 6, so you'll double it. So when that happens, I put my guy, I take my dude. So you start the game with one little astronaut. I called them Planeteers because it's funny. I need a code name for this game, by the way. If you have an idea, this is no longer about Mars. It's just about like a future civilization or a past, whatever, a civilization that is used to colonizing and building these little space stations out in the middle of nowhere. And so they have a pipeline in place, and they already have, you know, they have the knowledge to just pop this stuff down, and they have a base. So I need a name for that. Cosmoneers is the one I was thinking about going with as the code name. If you have any ideas, like, you know, Settlement Inc. or something, put that down below. Anyway, so you start with one of your little astronaut worker guys. So I put him there, I roll my die, and I see what happens. So let's say I roll a die and I get a 3. Well, that means I get 3 resources. At that point in time, I have to choose. Do I take the 3 supplies, and so then I could use those to pay for cards, because remember, this costs money, or do I take it as points? So in the beginning of the game, you're almost always going to take supplies, because you're going to need a certain amount to be able to build your base and to be able to get an engine working so that you can bank points. And at some point in the game, you have to make the decision to switch to scoring points. Like, okay, I think I have enough resources, or I have enough turns to generate resources that I can switch to scoring. And that really changed the game quite a bit. We played 4-player last night, so 3-player last time, 4-player this time, and I think it went really well. Like, I was honestly shocked. I'm not used to designing a game and then sitting it down and people actually being engaged and enjoying it. Usually it's garbage. But this is one of the first games I've ever designed where I spent months and months in my head, and then I spent weeks on my own solo testing and before I showed it to anybody. Usually I like to put it out there instantly. And this is one of the few games where I've had to add layers of complexity. Usually I end up going overboard, and then I have to take stuff away to make it a more compact game. In this particular situation, I was trying to make it too compact, and I had to open it up a little. That being said, it's not a unique game at all. There are very few, if any, novel mechanics in here. I have basically picked and borrowed from my vast library of games that I've played and pieced it together. But I'm also having a blast doing it, and that's ultimately what it's all about for me. You know, it's just like making this show. I'm designing this game because I want to play this game, not because I'm hoping to sell this game to Hasbro and make $1 million. Because that's just not going to happen, honestly. It's just not going to happen. I think this game is publishable. Am I going to spend the time to find a publisher? I don't know. Maybe I'll put it on Kickstarter. Who knows? Maybe you guys want me to really go on an adventure with you in this game, and if we decide to do that, great. But for right now, I'm having a blast doing it. I had a blast playing it last night. I think everybody's on for playtesting it next week, which, by the way, is my birthday. And, yeah, I'm excited. So, that's the update. Stay tuned to CheveeDodd.com. I think I have a newsletter over there. Honestly, that site has been practically abandoned since I started this show. Very few posts over there, but I will do some write-ups once I have a project name. So please, comments below, suggest me project names. I'll post a thing. Planet settling, futuristic, kind of Jetson-y, think, kind of cartoonish future. So I don't want it to be like Violate the Stars or something. So anyway, comment below, give me a name for the project, and I'll start writing some articles. You pay attention to CheveeDodd.com if you're interested in the game design, and I'll come back on the show every now and then and update. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you. Vastly. I'm gonna go play some video games.
Hey, Doc, wait! I want to ask you something.
Today's random fact comes from BBC.com. When does the brain stop growing? We used to think that the brain was fully developed by very early teenagerhood, and now we realize the brain does not stop developing until mid-20s or even the early 30s. There's a lot more information and evidence to suggest that actually brain development in various forms goes on throughout your lifespan.